fake breed websites. They're on the rise, folks, and they're becoming more and more professional. Chillingly so, in fact. Welcome back to Pups for Sale on our YouTube channel, where we place a lot of videos about detecting and avoiding scams. And this video was produced in April 2015. One of the most sophisticated, if not the most sophisticated, fake breed websites we've ever seen. Even including a landline number, as you'll see up here, which we're going to ring in a minute. Let's see what we can find. We'll walk you through this, and we'll also tell you how we found it. Okay, they're French Bulldog pups for sale. French Bulldog's obviously one of the most common scam breeds that are used to suck people in. British Bulldogs, etc., as we've covered before. Now let's look at some of their pages. To start with their home page, they've got a landline. As I said, we'll call that in a minute and we'll see what happens. They've also got all these social media pages set up. Again, the level of professionalism is rising all the time. Good quality site. They've got information about us, contact us. They've even got an e-commerce shop. These people are serious, yet they are scammers, and we will show you how. We'll scroll down the home page. You see lovely embedded videos from YouTube, pictures, and so on. Now, just notice here, $2,500. That's the first thing you notice. $3,000. Okay, too cheap for a French Bulldog. Not way too cheap. Enough to draw people in to go, this might be a bargain. And they're getting more and more clever. The days of really cheap ads, saying $500 and that, are just about over, because they know they're going to get detected. A lot harder to detect this one. Okay, so we've got, here we go, British Bulldogs. Okay, not just satisfied with French Bulldogs, British Bulldogs again. The $2,500, enough to suck people in thinking they're getting a bargain. But how do we know this is a fake? After all, it looks very professional. Well, let's look at another page on their site, their About Us page. Now, they're called French Bulldog Puppies for Sale, Sydney.com. One heck of a mouthful. Now, let's see what happens when we have a look at this page and see what the About Us says. Okay, and they'll give a reason why they're not in Sydney, because they don't want people to come to their address, of course, because it's a fake address. Started our breeding program in Sydney, had our first kennel, so our domain name, wrong spelling there of domain, of course, has Sydney. Again, you see Sydney without a capital, so another little hint that things mightn't be right. We have now moved to a larger kennel in Queensland. Indeed they have. So they've got British and French Bulldogs, lifetime genetic health guarantee, and they're getting very clever. Again, have a look at this. They've got some of these common diseases that are found in these sort of dogs, including the luxating patella, things that really only breeders would know, unless, as is the case, these scammers, and they are scammers, are really doing their homework. Okay, our kennels proudly exhibits at dog shows in Victoria and so on. Now, when we try and ring this number in a minute, we'll see what they've got to say about their kennel prefix, because of course they need a kennel name to advertise. Let's see what happens. Okay, so again, it all sounds reasonable. There's just a few bells going off that something might not be quite right. Now let's have another look at another page on our site, on their site. This is the testimonials page, and we're also going to use this page as a quiz to see exactly how good they are, because they pinch testimonials from other sites, real ones, and they also create their own, depending on how good their English and grammar is. Now, in this testimonials, again, very professional page. All right, so this is supposedly from Josh and Leanne. They're saying, hi, Jeff. Okay, and then we're saying, hi, Gwen and Jeff. Let's see, when we ring this landline, if someone answers it, it will be a compromised landline, which is being used via Skype to connect them. And these people are in Pakistan, and I'll show you how we know that in a minute. Okay, so we'll quiz them or say, can we speak to Gwen or Jeff, please? Let's see what they say, see if we can trip them up. All right, so again, look reasonable. They sound right as far as testimonials go. So again, this level of professionalism, even the graphics. Scary stuff, huh? I will show you. Just hold on and we'll show you. Now, they've even got to the trouble of writing a blog. Goodness gracious me, a blog. I mean, this level of professionalism is just out of the park, and it shows how serious they are about stealing your money. They don't care about anything but stealing your money. If they have to take it to this level of professionalism to do so, they will, and they are. So this is a blog here. Now, some really good information. Okay. Again, good quality blog page. Now we'll see here the latest. Good photos. French Bulldog puppies are the cutest pups ever, of course. Written by Samir. That's an interesting name because we have Jeff and Gwyn on the other page. We've got more how to pick them out. Samir again. You'll notice these dates, March 24th. This scam site was set up in early March, and they've been working on it ever since. They're going to get a surprise shortly when we release the hounds on them, so to speak. But anyway, we'll go to there in a minute. So again, how to select French Bulldog puppies. Here's Samir again. Just keep that name in mind. Now, let's have a look at the social media pages. And again, just like the blogs, they're getting really professional by putting on good quality social media pages. Buy Bulldog puppies in Australia. This is their Google Plus page. Okay, they've got videos, they've got a little bit of information. Again, you'll see that it's starting in March. Okay, so this is when they started the scams. All about trying to rank on Google's search engine results pages and also on the classified ad sites that they're advertising on. And we'll show you some of them shortly. Again, the usual suspects. All right, so that's the Google Plus page. Looks professional. Let's have a look on Twitter as well. They don't leave any stone unturned because the money that they can get from Australians being sucked in is a huge earner for them. And so they're really targeting Australia. Here we go. Look at that. Good quality. Again, see, late March is the latest post. Good quality photos and so on, using videos, all sorts of things. Now, hang on a second. Who are they connected to? Wahid. Well, there you go. And here's that Samira. Remember we were looking at Samir was the other fella that wrote that blog post? Just keep that in mind. Okay, let's have a look at their Facebook profile. These are things that whether you're interested in French Bulldogs or any other breed, be aware of when you are surfing the net, looking at profiles for those breeds. You can come across very professional fake social media profiles as well as the websites. Now we're going to report each one of these profiles to the host, Google Plus, Twitter, and so forth shortly when we're done. But we've left them up here for now. And most of these social media sites are good at pulling them down. Twitter and Google Plus particularly. Facebook is pretty hopeless, but they get there in the end. Okay, here we go. This is their Facebook page. Now, they've only got 9 likes and 1 visit and so on. Okay, but again, set up in March, looks professional. Now let's have a look here. Now, as they said, they're called French Bulldog puppies for sale in Sydney. Now this one here, they're in Kuranda. Okay, so they've moved to Queensland, but they're putting Kuranda on because it's unlikely anyone's going to be nearby enough to come and visit them. That's outside of Cairns. So they're trying to protect themselves by saying, oh, look, you're too far away, you know, etc., etc. Okay, so they're in Kuranda. This actually, we won't go into it now, but this is actually the location for a legitimate boarding kennels. All right, so they've got 2,500. Again, that price is a bargain. 12 weeks old, full ANKC paperwork, which is Australian National Kennel Club, which is not right because they'll have a state canine council paperwork for their registration papers. Here we go. There's that word that we've warned about before, shots, eh? That's an American term. We don't use that here. Obviously getting more and more suspicious, clean bill of health and so on. Now look at this email address. And this is another tip we've given previously. You can always run their email addresses in a Google search. It's not foolproof, but it may well show up something suspicious. Let's have a look when we do so. We've run this in a Google search and we've had some interesting results. Let's see what we come up with when we do. So you just copy and paste it into Google and this will come up in just a sec and we'll show you the results. As we said before, the usual suspects that they're advertising on other classified ad sites. Let's see here. Okay, this is that Facebook page they'd set up. Fair enough, okay, because that email address is listed there. They're on quicksales.com.au, another pirate's lair that they don't check their ads, so we won't go there today. Hang on a second. Number 3, Perth. Very busy. They're going from Sydney to Kuranda to Perth. They're advertising in Perth. And these ones are $2,000. Getting even cheaper. So you can use this as a way. Oh, look, there's a result that we put up. Scams being run on the trading post, which are still occurring. This is their Google Plus page here that we just highlighted. So anyway, so this one in Perth, there's just an example. Okay, so are you getting more suspicious? You should be. Not a foolproof way, but a good another tool to use to check. Okay, now remember Samir? We went to a site called whois.com, which shows you the details of where sites are located, who owns them, where they're hosted, who's the registrar for the site. Now, you don't need to be a technical expert to work this out. So go to whois.com here and type in the domain name, which we did, French Bulldog Puppies for Sale Sydney. Now, they're hosted by one of the biggest registrars in the United States called GoDaddy. That's not suspicious. A lot of Australian sites are. Hosted on their servers hosted at HostGator. Now, we're going to obviously make a complaint to HostGator shortly and let them know. HostGator is a big hosting company. No problems there, and they're very good at pulling down fake sites. Now, let's have a look. And we've highlighted this for you. Dun, 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 dun. There he is, Samir. And where is he? Room 6A, Cyber Hostel. This is an internet cafe. Islamabad. Islamabad, Sydney? Islamabad, Kuranda? Islamabad, Perth? Islamabad, Pakistan. Even got a phone number on there. There he is, old Samir. So if that's not enough evidence for you, well, you're very trusting, too trusting. Now, let's go back and have a look at this phone number. Let's give it a call. I'll put it on speakerphone. We'll have a call, and we'll see what we can find. We might get nothing, or they might answer the phone. If it's a compromised Skype number, they're likely to answer the phone. It could be just another business where they're just using a fake phone number. However, it's prominent on their website. So let's see, we might get to speak to a scammer. All right, we're calling now. Let's put it on speaker. See if we can get in contact with these people. It's actually ringing. So it's a connected phone number. Depending on the level of the sophistication, they could have an agent in Australia who is acting with them in their criminal syndicate. Or it could be, just as we said, an unsuspecting private.
The person you're trying to reach is not available. Please leave a message after the beep.
Hello, I'm calling about the French Bulldog puppies you've got for sale. Can you please give me a call back on this number? I'd like to have a chat with you about it. Very, very interested. Thank you. Did you notice the foreign accent of the message? Okay, that phone number is being diverted. It's most likely on Skype and being diverted to Pakistan, and they've got that messaging system commonly used by the scammers, because if they answer the phone and they've got a Pakistani accent, well, it's likely the jig is up. So what they'll probably do is they'll probably text back to this mobile number that I've messaged them from. I deliberately didn't leave the phone number on voice, but let's see what happens, and we'll keep you posted. So you could hear that foreign accent on the message system, and that's a classic. So someone in Australia may be acting for them as an agent, but that is definitely, in our experience, a compromised Skype phone number. All right, so, but not only do they put these fake breeder profiles up on their own sites, they also, to get known, to get as much publicity as they can, they also advertise on classified sites like we showed you before on those search results. That was on Quick Sales, AdX Australia, and here's another one, and this is most concerning for you. Yes, indeed, Doggish. We've exposed Doggish before, and here they are again. Here's one example there. Now, this is a really cheap one, $1,000, so they're giving the game away. They're probably getting desperate because it's the same syndicate as before. And this is another one here, $2,000. And we'll show you those individual ads. What's really concerning about sites like Doggish is they say that, here we go, phone verified seller. Now, what happens is, unlike Pup for Sale, they're not manually checking their ads. What's going on here is they'll be using software that'll send an SMS message to the phone number that has been compromised, and they'll do it that way to confirm that the phone number is in fact legitimate. However, it's legitimately being run by the scammers, and if they actually did their research, they would know so clearly, as we've shown you, that these are scammers. This is not a phone verified seller, it's a phone verified scammer. Now, you've got $2,000 on this one. Again, you might recognize the photos from that website we've shown you, and they'll say on there, French Bulldog Puppies for Sale Sydney.com. So again, they're trying to send as much traffic to their website as they can. Another ad on Doggish, and as we've said, this symbol that they use to say that they're phone verified is not because someone like us has actually rung them up, checked them out. It's because they're using software instead of doing the proper job and actually verifying them. So you cannot trust this. If you do, you're asking for trouble. So as I said, we've exposed Doggish before for hosting scam ads. They're still doing it, but the main thrust of this video is beware of these professional fake breeder websites. They are very professional. They are getting increasingly so. And unless you know what you're doing, you can be sucked in by them. Beware of things like just a little bit too cheap price, unable to call someone directly, their location shifting around, and so on. So if in doubt, of course, contact us at Pups for Sale. Happy to assist you with any queries you may have. Contact admin, check out our scam information. This video will be embedded on our site shortly. To stay safe always. So that's some more tips from the team at pupsforsale.com.au. Stay safe, folks, and keep your hard-earned money in your pocket until the time comes to buy a real puppy for your home.